Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Mythic Quest Season 2 is a show exclusive to Apple TV+. It is a show that I talked about last week. I really enjoyed Season 1. And there are aspects of Season 2 which I feel were great. Some great episodes. But overall, didn't like Season 2 quite as much. I mean, there were, like I said, aspects of Season 2 that were amazing. We get backstory of some of the backstory of some of the characters. But overall, like an underwhelming end to the season, which I'll get to that. But I think Season 2 of Mythic Quest, or Episode 2 of Season 2, is probably the best episode. It is so good. I mean, the season starts with the two leads, the owner, or you got Rob McElhenney, who I mistakenly referred to as Charlie Day in my previous review. Charlie Day is just one of the creators, who is also from It's Always Sunny. But Rob McElhenney is the head program, I guess, is Ian. I don't know what his job title is. Co-head designer? I don't know. And Poppy. So they've become 50-50 partners in Mythic Quest, and it's them having problems working together. They're working separately. They've decided to split up. He's going to have his team. She's going to have her team. But Season 2 is like this epic. It's just so good. Poppy's got to give a speech in front of this women's group, because she's, a woman in programming, in gaming. So there's this big women's group that she's got to give a speech in front of. She's struggling to lead her team. She's struggling to do these things, and there's a speech that she gives at the end of the episode that is, the way that whole scene plays out is so amazing, because the speech is her losing it on stage, but losing it in the most endearing way. It's like her on stage giving a speech to this women empowerment group, and it's just her being super honest and being super vulnerable, and just like, from the outside looking in, it looks like she's falling apart, but like in a super heartfelt, honest, kind of self-destructive kind of a way. But then the twist of that is that it was all planned. That the speech of like her going up as if she's going to start reading a speech, and then acting like, oh, I'm just going to do this a cappella, and then like, or just not being able to see the thing, and taking her glasses off, and then just like kind of having this nervous breakdown. Like, all of that was planned, and it was great. It was like that twist of having that whole self-destructive moment be planned and be written by Ian. Like, Ian, she asked Ian to help her with her speech, and that's what he wrote, to have her just go up. And it was the best way for her to do it, because it was the most honest way for her to do it, and the most and most impactful. I mean, the honesty tends to be the most effective and most powerful type of communication, versus somebody regurgitating a corporate script. But yeah, that was by far the best episode. It was just like, because Poppy, I love. I think like her character is just so adorable. I have the biggest crush on her, despite the fact that she's kind of a horrible boss in some aspects. She kind of has a power trip a bit, but just so endearing. I loved it so much. So I really enjoyed Episode 2. There's also a CW episode. The writer for Mythic Quest, CW, who does all the backstories, they give his backstory of how, when he was a struggling writer coming up, and how he, was part of a group of he had a small group of friends. They were all going to help each other write, but he's just not a great writer. And he went out on a limb to have one of his heroes read a story, and they just completely changed everything. And the famous writer said, "Oh, feel free to use these changes." And it's like literally he's going through the pages of this book that he wrote, and every page is crossed out and rewritten. So what he did was like he used the corrections, which were basically a complete rewrite by a professional writer, and that's how he got his award that shows up out of nowhere every time it gets discussed. And it makes sense that he's kind of like this. He always seemed like he has the air of somebody who's a great writer, but clearly not doing it. Like he's got this thing where his publisher wants him to write the third book in his series that was supposed to be done in the 80s, and he's trying to get an extension for it. Like, you can just tell that, he's a fraud. Like, his one successful book was rewritten by a famous writer. But it gives his backstory, which is awesome because, like, there's this scene where he's walking down the street all depressed, and he walks by this store that's selling the Atari, playing Pong. Like, there's a Pong, the original Pong screen, and he's like, oh, and he gets inspired, and he goes to his writing job, and he's like telling all the people that, like, this is the future of storytelling. And that's how he got part of, like, and they show how how Ian and Poppy tracked this writer down at like a medieval festival, and it's really great. It's kind of interesting. Like, I kind of keyed into the fact that the structure of the show feels like it's structured as a video game would be structured, like a quest would be structured in a video game of them, like, doing things, and you see the backstory of things. I don't know if that's how accurate that is to say that the show is structured like a video game, but it feels like it might be. Like, the narrative of the entire season, or maybe the entire 2 seasons, is structured in some way like a video game. I don't know. I don't play enough of those types of games to know if that assumption is correct or not. But I did enjoy those scenes. I mean, it really did, for a character that's resorted to being a floating face on a tablet for this episode. I mean, he's not really in. I mean, I guess there's the scene where he goes, the 1-2 scene of his backstory, of CW's backstory, and then the next episode is Peter, which is the episode where CW goes to meet with his old writing buddy, Peter, who is was married to the third of their tripod group. She died, and Peter's by himself or whatever, and then CW goes to visit him, and that's a great episode also. Like, a big chunk of this season was given to CW's character to flesh out his character, which is good, is interesting. I enjoyed those episodes, but as far as a balance is concerned for the entire show, like, we know more about CW's backstory than we do about Ian or Poppy. I mean, Ian, in the first season, we saw some of his backstory with his son and his ex-wife, but not really his childhood or where he came from or what got him into video games. And same thing with Poppy. We haven't seen her backstory. So it's kind of interesting that they would devote, like, multiple episodes to this character, CW. Especially considering what happens towards the end of this season really feels like everything's unraveling. Like, the connections between all of the different characters, they all seem to be going in different directions. Specifically, Poppy and Ian leave Mythic Quest to start production on a brand new game, because there's a technology that Poppy wants to implement but can't engineer Mythic Quest in a way to facilitate this new tech. So instead of trying to merge Mythic Quest into this new thing, Ian wants to, with her, design it from the ground up, which I kind of enjoy, right? Like season 3, maybe it's going to be this new game versus Mythic Quest in some way, where they can keep all of the characters that we've already met and introduce new characters for whatever staff that they do. Also, the art department in this season is introduced and shown how much they're taking advantage of in this business, in this company, in this video game company. But it really feels like towards the end of season 2 that everything kind of unravels. And it really let out the steam that I had for being excited about the show. Like, I'm interested to see what happens if they come out with the season 3, which I think they're supposed to. I'll watch it. I do enjoy the show, but it really, because everything kind of splits apart. I don't know. I don't have the excitement that I had after watching season 2 that I had after watching season 1. Like, I was way more excited to get into season 2 after seeing season 1 than I was now looking forward to season 3. I mean, despite the good episodes, it was just, I don't know, it felt a little off. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't put my nose on it. I put my finger on it. I don't know. I can't put any body part on it. I just don't know where it is, what it is. But I still enjoyed the show. Let's see. Is there anything else? Backstory, kind of underwhelming end. The speech was amazing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So season 2, Mythic Quest, I enjoy it. It's a fun workplace comedy, but I didn't enjoy. I mean, the episode 2 was amazing. I think episode 2 was the peak. Episodes 6 and 7 dealing with CW are great episodes, but they just don't feel like, I don't know. There's the tester girls, they're leaving. Like, it just feels like people are leaving. It feels like the end. It really felt more like the end of the series than it did just at the end of the season. But I don't know. We'll see. It might even get, if it does end up being in season 3, if there is a season 3, if it does end up being whatever this new game is that Poppy and Ian make, and if it's them against their old Mythic Quest game, like battling for popularity or something like that, that would probably introduce a lot of fun, set pieces, dramatic, comedic, competition, ups and downs. So who knows? But I just don't have the excitement for it that I did after watching season 1. But it is what it is. I enjoyed the show nonetheless. The show is Mythic Quest Season 2. It is available exclusively on Apple TV+. Get yourself $25 in new credit when you sign up for your great new cell phone service over at Ting. Go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. Sign up now with that link, and you get yourself $25 to put towards a new device, put towards your service. But it's a great quality service that you do not pay an arm and a leg for. I love it. I've been using it for years and pay so very little. I could almost pay 2 months of my cell phone bill with $25 credit that you get for free when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. That's TING, inspireddisorder.com/Ting. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com, and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!